Hello and welcome back to Buckle Up. I'm Harry King and this is the Nissan Qashqai, and for its third generation they fitted it with e-power. Now this is one of the best selling cars in the UK. It has been since it came out, and now it's available with a more advanced powertrain than ever. So is it still good? So as usual, we'll start here at the front. This has Nissan's corporate face, very similar to the previous generation Qashqai, though this time everything's sort of flattened and smoothened. You've got these fancy lights with things running through them. Everyone who's been in this car or seen this car this week has commented on how good it looks, which I don't think you would ever say about either of the previous two generations, so good job there, Nissan. You do have lots of real grills and real vents round here to smooth the air around the wheels, get that really good efficiency. But let's see if the design is still as efficient down the side. So we'll actually start with a little premium touch here. You've got the word Kumquat written here right next to the lights. 19-inch wheels. I quite like these alloys, two-tone with the sort of dark grey and diamond cut pattern. A little bit of cheeky bright work to elevate. Black mirror to add a bit of sportiness. This really is all cars to all people. On his side, you've got a fuel filler flap. This is all you need to add to an e-power. No worries about plugging in. E-power badge down there as well, just in case you missed it. And then round the back, you get another e-power badge. You also get the word Qashqai put here large on the rear tailgate. Another Nissan badge. Rear wiper, handy, even though it's got a slope roof. And a tasteful little spoiler. A bit more of the sportiness there. Really doesn't back it up with any performance, but it's got the looks. We'll open up the boot, automatic on this top spec model, which will reveal, well, it's sunroom. This is by no means class leading. There's enough space for your family shop or for things if you want to go on holiday on a ferry. But if you want more boot space, I would consider something like a Hyundai Tucson. I do have an issue with this boot, and my issue with this boot is it has too many floors. So you've got this false floor here, and then you also, underneath this false floor, you then have another floor. And I would rather just have the room. If you've already consigned yourself to not building a bigger car to put a bigger boot in it, Nissan, then at least give us use of the whole boot. Don't take up like an inch of the usable space with a false floor. Rant over. I'll pop this back in, which obviously will be very easy with one hand. Of course, what you can do with these is use them as a sort of divider if you want to segregate your shopping. You do have a few useful features in the boot as well. So actually, if I fold this back up, there is a wider section here at the back if you're a golfist. I don't know how many Nissan Qashqais you get on the golf course, but it's an option. You've got some luggage straps, you've got some tie-down points, and you do have a 12-volt socket if you want to put in one of those hopeless little 12-volt vacuum cleaners. You've also got some hooks up here, and the seats do fold 60-40 if you want more room, and thanks to the false floor, you won't have such a hard time getting things down to the front. Just do that now. Look at that, continuous load space. Just slide this all the way in. Lovely. I'll get them folded back up and then we can go see what the back seats are like. Right, space. The final frontier. Closer than you might expect in the Nissan Qashqai. This seat is in my driving position and I do not really have enough legroom behind myself. That's despite a significant increase in legroom for this generation of car. There is plenty of width. I can put my legs either side of the front seat, so that's okay. I do have just about enough headroom. I'm 180 centimetres tall for reference. And even with this pano roof installed, I can sit up completely bolt upright. So that is good. In terms of features back here, you've got a USB-C and a USB-A. You've got two big seat back pockets. You've got a bottle holder in the door. Of course, because my leg is wedged here between the seat and the door, I can't actually access it. You also have this fold-down centre armrest with two cup holders in it. That's quite nice, though. No through loading. And you've got Isofix, but it's on these plastic covers that do have a habit of going missing. So if you're liable to lose stuff like this, you might want to keep that in mind. The seat materials themselves, it's leather, and then this interesting synthetic material that I don't much care for. It looks quite nice, but the feeling isn't particularly pleasant. Higher up in the cabin, it does get a bit better. You've got this kind of contrasting blue soft touch area for your elbow and for your arm here on the doors, but overall, I would suggest this is a more child-friendly space than an adult-friendly one. Let's see what it's like in the front. Okay, so both space and materials-wise, you're much better here in the front. So for a start, there's much more of that soft blue contrast material around the place. You also get this sort of intriguing finishing here and here and here on the window switches, which is designed to emulate sort of Japanese wood carving. Nissan's a Japanese company, if you didn't know. Lots and lots of technology, lots of stuff you would hope for and expect on a high-spec car of this kind. So I've got heated seats, heated steering wheel, heated windscreen. Take that forward. Large infotainment display. I've got a digital driver's display as well. I do have physical dual zone climate control, which is very nice. I can do all of that on the move without taking my eyes off the road. Auto dimming rear mirror, auto wipers, auto headlights. So, you know, it's got all the tech you would expect, but it doesn't have anything super stellar on it. It's all just enough. It meets your expectations. The screen itself, if I just pop the ignition on, it's not the swishiest system in the world. It's a little bit laggy. The graphics aren't amazing. It does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and you access the cable for the Android Auto here in the glove box. There is also a USB-C in here, and enough space for your sunglasses, which is good. There's also a little kind of runner to get the cable out, so they have thought about it. Of course, if you've got an Apple device, you can get wireless Apple CarPlay on the top spec model. There's also a second tier to this. You can keep your keys in there or your wallet. Lovely stuff. Other practicality in the cabin, there is a tray here, a wireless charging tray for your phone, Qi charger. It's not quite large enough for my phone, though I do have quite a large phone. There's also a 12-volt socket, which weirdly counterbalances the start button, which I don't think has been put in the right place in this cabin at all. It's right down here with the charging stuff. Weird choice. It's a nice glove box, so there is a fuse box in the space, so it's not as big as you might be expecting. You also have bottle holders / door pockets, which is good. Nothing up here though, no glasses holder. The seats in the front are the same material as they are in the back, so again, not a massive fan of this, but you do have this leatherette finishing on the sides, and there is a bit of bolstering. They're quite comfortable. So I would say overall, much like the rest of the car, this is pretty much middle of the pack when it comes to interior. Let's see if it can break out of the average when we get to the driving. Okay, so driving the Qashqai e-Power. Now, this has a 1.5 litre petrol engine, but that does not power the wheels. The wheels are powered by a 187 brake horsepower electric motor, front wheel drive, 330 newton meters of torque, and the engine acts as a generator for a 2.1 kilowatt hour battery, and it just ensures that that never runs flat. So this is basically an electric car with a petrol power plant on it. The petrol at no times drives the wheels directly. It's just a power plant in this car, which means it drives like an electric car. So that 330 newton meters of torque hits the front wheels instantaneously. Super nice, super punchy response, and actually it's pretty quick. So 0 to 62 is just under 8 seconds, which makes this the fastest Qashqai ever made. Interestingly, if you care about that. But the main thing to think about, that might have all sounded very complicated. The main thing to think about is the way this ends up operating is like a plug-in hybrid with a CVT gearbox, effectively. So, and yeah, sorry, for the technically minded, that's not at all what is happening, but I mean in terms of like how it feels and what's going on with the sound and everything, that's sort of it. So the engine will just climb to a rev amount and stay there to produce power, sort of like it would in the CVT, but of course it's just generating electricity instead. And then obviously you're in silent running. the computer in this will try and make it so the engine is on as little as possible. And to be fair, it switching in and out is pretty much not noticeable. You only ever hear the engine when you've got your foot flat to the floor. The rest of the time, it's either very quiet or you don't hear it at all. Now, tech on this is the top spec model, so I do have radar cruise control. I've also got auto steering. Now, the button is down here. That's on now. It's not, it's not a very good steering system. I wouldn't trust it on a motorway, personally. The radar cruise works fine, but I don't know, straight over the line. It's not managing it. I know, of course, this is an A road, but I've had this experience also on the motorway while I've had the car on test this week. It just doesn't seem to steer for itself as eagerly or as often or as well as some of its rivals. Seating position in the cabin, visibility, that kind of thing. The seats are surprisingly hard, so it depends if you like that or not. I prefer a slightly softer seat, but there's bolstering, they're comfortable, loads of adjustment in the steering as well. Manual though, electric seats in this model. It's a crossover, so you've got a pretty big glass house. The rear window is quite steeply raked, so there's not the most amazing view out of there, but it's certainly nothing challenging. And you've got nice big wing mirrors as well, so... Oh, and of course, you've got surround view cameras, which don't function at speed apparently, but it's got a top-down view as well as a reversing camera, so super easy to manoeuvre in car parks as well, get this thing parked. It does feel quite wide. Of course, it's not particularly long, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not that wide either. It's just wider than a traditional family hatchback. It actually rides quite stiffly. It's fairly firm suspension. The advantage of that is there's really minimal roll in the corners. It stays very calm and planted while manoeuvring, and the turning actually is quite good. But that'll be good for child car sickness. They won't roll about in the back too much, so that's good. And actually it means that you can carry a fair bit of speed. Not that that is what this car is about in any way, but it is just reassuring to turn into a corner and not lean over. Really, I think what the Kumquat does so well, what puts it ahead of the rest of the pack, is it's a proper jack of all trades. Now, there's nothing about this car, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, but there's nothing outstanding about it. In every single category, it's fine. It's okay to good at everything. But actually, that's what you need from a car. This is very popular for a reason. It's middle priced, middle technology, middle performance, middle practicality. Yes, there are cars with nicer interiors and more tech that are more powerful. They're all more expensive. Or there are cars that are a bit cheaper, but there's a reason they're cheaper. This, it just knows exactly where it fits, and it fits in as the every car, the everything. It does it all, and it's fine. With that being said, because of that, I have no special reason to continue to talk about the driving experience. It's fine. It's perfectly good. So let's go back and do a bit of a conclusion. So then, the Nissan Qashqai. It's a perfectly lovely car, but that's all it is. There's no wow moment here. It's just pretty good at everything. And you know what? That's fine. It's a car for everyone, and the sales figures reflect that. So good job, Nissan, but it'll be a long time before you see me driving one again. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. You'll find all of our links down in the description. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all those other exciting, cool, happening places. We also have merchandise. That link is in the description. You can buy yourself a lovely, lovely, sweet, sweet hoodie. And we have channel memberships right here on YouTube where you can sign up and give us a monthly fee, like Netflix, except we pay our writers because we're our writers. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.